A burning question in the world of sports: is winning everything? So we're joined by JR Jackson, Pablo Alsina. We're going to talk about this because athletes are constantly pitted against each other based on the quantity of their trophies, what their statistics are. You've got Kobe versus LeBron consistently. You've got maybe Kobe versus Michael Jordan. You've got Manning versus Brady. You've got Messi versus Ronaldo. How much is winning the typical factor that everyone looks at?
I think it depends on positions and legacy. For instance, NFL, if you're an offensive lineman, you don't win a Super Bowl, nobody's going to judge you any differently. If you're in Orlando Pace, you can still make it to the Hall of Fame. My favorite quarterback of all time, Dan Marino, he's got 0 Super Bowls. He's still one of the best of all time. I think we put way too much pressure on how many titles people win. Is Charles Barkley not a great player because he has 0 titles? No, there was just a guy named Michael Jordan who took some titles away from him. So I think we put way too much weight on winning titles as far as legacy is concerned.
Yeah, Michael Jordan took titles also away from Patrick Ewing.
From you.
Yeah, from John Stockton and Karl Malone. He took the titles away from a lot of people.
Exactly.
So but we still see them as great players. And as I think you're right, it comes from position also in some sports, because I feel like in the NBA they talk about it so much more, like who's the greatest NBA player of all time? I said, man, there's so many different NBA players and different kinds of play that they did. It's hard to
Well, then Robert Horry is better than Jordan because Robert Horry has 7 titles.
Exactly. It's hard to pull that type of thing off. But it really does. I think it becomes a discussion also between former players and then just us watching, or us that wished we were that level of athlete.
Yeah.
Right.
So those guys amongst themselves, I feel like they have these, I guess, divisions of it where the Hall of Famers. And again, my favorite player was Reggie Miller growing up. No titles, but now he's number 2 on the 3-point list because Ray Allen passed him. But he was, no one ever disputes Reggie Miller's greatness in the game, but he never won a title. And then another side of it is money. There's guys who will lose and be like, hey, I just signed that $150 million contract though. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm winning.
That's not losing. That's not losing.
And I have to bring up the point is how much does it affect the athletes themselves? Because you can't tell me when you watch LeBron James lift up that finally achieving the NBA championship, you could see the relief on his face because it felt that it was this shadow overcasting his career consistently because he was compared to the likes of Kobe Bryant to be the best player in the league, but Kobe had more rings than him.
Yeah, but Kobe had more rings, but less MVPs.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal won those first 3 titles, Kobe. And by the way, he would have won the last 2 if it wasn't for Dame Más Gasolina for Pau Gasol. And Kobe's like, I would have never left the Lakers. He left the Hornets. He said, I'm not going to sign with them. So that's why he got traded to the Lakers in the first place. Of course you don't leave LA. You're in LA. If Kobe would have been drafted by the Sacramento Kings, guess what? He would have been the first one jumping ship. So I'm from Miami. I love me some LeBron James. I'm glad he won some titles. But I'm not going to begrudge him for leaving. Go ahead. Go to Cleveland. Hey, players have to get their money, have to be where they want to be. And guess what? He went to an even better team. They might win it all again this year. So it's okay. But please, enough with that. Kobe wouldn't have left. Jordan wouldn't have left. Jordan was in Chicago. Why was he going to leave?
And the thing is, once, as you said, the relief that LeBron had when he finally won, he now has the freedom to do things like go to Cleveland, where people are like, you're going to go back? And I was one of them. You're going to go back to those guys that treated you like that? But he has the freedom because he no longer has the weight on his shoulders of, I'm already NBA champion multiple times.
Yeah. So to bring it back to soccer for you, so one player that I know you're a big fan of, I'm a big fan of, Lionel Messi. The thing that's consistently, I think, that might be cast over his head in comparisons to legends such as Diego Maradona. He hasn't won a World Cup yet, and he's been. I know you were close. I know you guys were very close, and you still hold it.
Hold on. I'm going to throw this one at you. He's doing everything like Maradona. You know that amazing goal in the World Cup against England? He had one similar in La Liga.
Yeah.
Guess what? Maradona also lost the World Cup to Germany 1-0 in 1990.
Do you think
Messi lost the World Cup final
itself?
1-0 to Germany. He's just doing it backwards. We're winning the next World Cup, baby. Lionel Messi and Argentina are going to win the next World Cup. But you can't put it all on him. You can't put it on him. There's 11 players on the pitch.
Of course.
He did all he could do, and we were so close. I mean, we hold on another 2 minutes. There's a penalty kick shootout. Argentina wins. Is Messi all of a sudden a better player?
That's the point. That's the point I want to make. Would that make him now one of the best players ever if he just had won? If he wins the World Cup? Because people, of course he is. But this is what the story is about. It's because people consistently resonate it with awards and trophies.
Everybody's saying Tom Brady is the best quarterback since they won the last Super Bowl. If Seattle runs the ball, if they run it in, Tom Brady doesn't win another title. So he became the greatest player by sitting on the bench.
There's a lot of ifs and buts.
No, he's still a great quarterback. He's still one of the best ever.
Yeah. So, JR, in terms of if you're looking at an American sports personality, is there someone that you look to the most? I know you said one of your favorite athletes before, and maybe in the NFL, who's someone that you think that just doesn't get the recognition that they deserve because of the numbers that they don't have, and next to some of the athletes that get all the recognition?
Well, I hate to say it, but Jay Cutler is a great quarterback.
Yeah.
He just has these moments. And then we
He
highlight
didn't
those
win anyway.
moments.
He
Yeah, he
didn't
doesn't
Denver,
win.
didn't win in
But
Chicago.
he didn't win. He couldn't win there. But they had those chances. I think the first big blow was when they were in the Super Bowl and he just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Like, so sometimes those guys come under those kind of scrutiny, but he's still, I think I just read it this morning, how Jay Cutler is still the man. They're like, listen, this is our quarterback. We're sticking with him. And, Tony Romo, he has good numbers, but still people look at him and go, this guy's a loser.
Yeah.
Because that last hump. And again,
Well, Marino. Marino's got all the numbers, 0 titles, but he had the worst defense, the worst running game ever every year with Marino. Marino leaves, they bring in Ricky Williams. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, and Tony Romo threw a pass at the end of the game against the Packers when they lost. Am I right on this? There was the Packers game when they couldn't get in the end zone because of the bad replay call. That has nothing to do with what Tony Romo did on the
Exactly.
field.
Is Des Bryant's touchdown all of a sudden Romo's a better quarterback and they advance? No, I mean, it happens.
So
Titles aren't everything.
yours is Dan Marino? One of the
Dan
athletes who
Marino,
deserves
man. Dan
maybe the
Marino.
recognition without having a title.
He still gets it,
Yeah.
though. He still gets it. But it's just, I wish Marino would have won 1 title.
Yeah.
One.
Well, and my perspective on the whole in the soccer debate of Ronaldo and Messi, and I feel for Cristiano Ronaldo when it comes down to the World Cup because he consistently will come under scrutiny. When I have been on record saying that his national team are no better than a Scotland in that situation, and Scotland are pretty bad, let's be honest. But in that situation, up against the teams that they were playing against, they weren't good enough. And Cristiano Ronaldo will have that shadow held over his head that he didn't take them to the next round of the World Cup. 11-man team. Come on. You can't be doing
I don't
it.
think he
You
gets
can't be
that
doing it.
much.
I think he gets a lot.
He gets a little bit of a pass because he is with Portugal. I think, for instance, Ronaldinho had more pressure when Brazil had a bad World Cup because it was Ronaldinho when he was at his prime and he didn't play that good with Brazil in the World Cup.
But Brazil are a legacy that have won it for
Exactly.
years.
That's
Portugal
what I'm
are
saying.
not.
But Cristiano doesn't get the pressure Messi gets.
I still think that Portugal gets. They still expect them to go to the next stage because of his gifts. When, as you said, we consistently say it's an 11-man sport, and the same thing with American football. Sometimes you can do everything you can, but the moments just don't fall for you. So I agree that sometimes to differentiate between the legends of the game and the great players of the game, you need to have the accolades at the end of the day. And if you're an amazing athlete, you'll bring the rest of everyone around you, and you can win trophies, like you said.
It's also who did you play against?
Yeah.
Gabriela Sabatini, talking about some women's sports, she was an amazing tennis player. She came up along with Steffi Graf.
Yeah.
She never won that many titles because of Graf. Doesn't mean Sabatini wasn't a great player. She would have won in another decade, just not against Graf.
So, and a final question for both of you. Does great and legendary, are those the two things that are separated by the trophies you win?
It has to be. I mean, that's the way it works. I mean, you get a lot of great players, and they'll say that about some of the guys we've already mentioned. But then the legends have done both. They have the numbers and they have the titles. And there's a lot of other factors that get those titles. We know that. And also, there's a point I think a lot of people miss. You get these guys get endorsements. The guys that are the top Nike guys, the guys that get the Gatorade commercials and the Pepsi commercials and all that. Once you're the spotlight guy and the State Farm agent commercials and all that stuff, when you're that guy, they're like, well, why does this guy keep getting on TV if he ain't won anything yet?
He's got a better agent. He's winning the agent
exactly,
game.
right?
Hey, it happens. I think, yes, only in individual sports. If you're a boxer, you better win titles. If you're a UFC fighter, you better win titles if you want to be great, legendary, because it only depends on you, not on other people. In basketball, when there's only 5 players, maybe more pressure. In soccer, where there's 11, or in the NFL, where there's so many players, I don't think you can put it all on titles.
All right, good point, Seb. We want to know what everyone thinks. Leave your comments in the section below. From me, Pablo Alcina and JR Jackson, thanks again for tuning in to TYT Sports.